Hey y'all, it's your girl Dr. Nina, and why women can't have love and a career. It's time for one of them big sister, auntie, cousin, godmama chats. Honey, as a woman, most of us are told that we cannot have both. And we're told if we dare choose a career, even slightly, we're gonna be old with a bunch of cats. But some of us want those cats. But what's more important in the long run, love or the career? And I know you've seen it because I have. Some people get both, but is it realistic? As a newly married woman who chose the route of her career first, I have some opinions. And today I'm going to give you game on 6 ways to choose. Let's get into it. Look, sis, niece, cousin, you're going to need to know those personal values. When you know your values and understand yourself, it's that much easier to determine what's most important for the course of your life. What's going to leave you the least resentful in your life. Personal values are those beliefs we hold most dear. They can be desirable goals that motivate our actions and guide us through life. And it's important in this process to look at your previous behaviors because even though they have changed over time, a lot of times the thing you want and the things you act on are very much the same and are ending up being similar in your future. And none of these personal values can be determined by these internet streets, these podcast thugs, or anybody else. They have to be determined by you. You have to be real with yourself. If at this stage your values are mainly independence, your autonomy, and growing your own net worth, then your career might be the best priority for you right now so that you can focus on the things that are most important and valuable to you. Look, you got to be willing to have some hard conversations with yourself and with others and be real with yourself and where you are in your life. You need to know that you're not just romanticizing your possible future, your partner, and your work, or both. Ask yourself, are you truly able to balance their career as well as a stable, loving partner? Are you ready for one of those things to take the back seat or to try to play the balancing act? See, many times we get really upset because we're hyper-focused on one thing because we're sure of it. And I get it. But then when life doesn't pan out the way we want to, we become bitter and upset. Look, you can't just focus on work and expect for that perfect husband or wife to pop up. But you also can't only chase men and people to date and expect for your abilities, your opportunities, and your territory to grow. I decided to learn my own version of life balance. That's why I focused on my fitness journey, my self-care, beauty, my YouTube channel, my business. But then I also decided to make time for dating and being courted. With balance also came the lessons of time management. So I learned how to not keep on entertaining ridiculous people that were wasting my time. I started to date more effectively and with more quality in mind so that I could make sure that I was connecting with people that supported my personal growth and values. I'm adopted, so I knew that I wanted to get married and make sure that I was beginning my own known bloodline. But I would continue with my career to guarantee myself some stability, which added to managing my time. And I'm a wife and a full professor now. I just knew that I would attract the right person with my attributes. Someone who would love me, my personal values, and the skills that it took for me to become a top player in my career. Not my career itself. And also not my looks or my convenience, the whole package. You also want to be clear about the pros and the cons because there are both, boo-boo. If it's your significant other, ask yourself, how compatible are y'all really? Do y'all have similar long-term goals? Do you both want kids? Do you know how you want to retire or where you want to retire? Heck, do your families even get along? Also ask people that are in functional and fruitful relationships, what are some of the things you need to pay attention to? And I said actually in those relationships because most of these people that's talking ain't. Ask how hard but perhaps rewarding marriage is. And for those that didn't choose love, ask them how they feel about that. What has that led their life to and do they feel fulfilled? Know if marriage or your career are things that you desire to nurture right now. And if you don't feel guilty. You only get one life. And those people that's talking about you don't have to walk in your shoes. And by the way, check their shoes because they're probably old, holy, and leaning to the side. Can I get an amen? You also want to make sure you trust your gut, and if you're a spiritual person, make sure you're praying. Sometimes you got to consider all the sources that are telling you what you can and cannot have out of life. Some of these people have had repeat failures, the same failures in their relationships and their careers, and they should be the last ones talking. And some of these people so happy to have the peace of somebody that they will spew damaging rhetoric just to support these bad relationships that they're actually in. Don't be fooled. Some of these people miserable, and you know misery loves company. Get therapy. a mentor, and those willing to share their downfalls without all the bitterness. So if you made it to this point in the video, I know you're enjoying it. So go ahead and click like so that we can get back in that algorithm and we can continue to come with the hotness. Also, don't forget to leave your comments. I want to hear from you. I said something about making sure you know the pros and the cons, but also write those pros and cons down and make sure that you're seeing how they pan out over time. The reason why we don't like to write stuff down is because it holds us accountable. So I like to write down pros and cons so that I can remember why I was for or against a decision. Not only that, when you have wise people around that you can seek their counsel, you're able to let them see what you've written down, see if they can catch any of your blind spots, especially if they care about your well-being and where you're headed and what you get out of life. When we look at them pros and cons and we break them down on paper, it's easier to make decisions about love and or our career. And for me, what was so simplistic about planning out my life, because you actually have to plan out your life, is I knew what I wanted from my career. I started in my career young. I knew how high I wanted to go. I was already tenured and promoted, but then I got to the highest level as a professor and I've earned all of my certifications and licensures. And the great thing about it is my husband was able to be my husband at the time I ushered in that last and final part. And I know he's a big part of why I've been successful. But see, me planning out my life and knowing that I was not going to veer off that path unless there was a partner in my life that was worth it, made it very clear to me that I was accountable to myself. See, I didn't choose my career over love. What I decided was if there was not someone worth even making concessions in my career, I was going to continue on and get the bag of life for myself, but also make sure that I'm willing to do the things that are necessary to share in other ways in my life. Thank God that brought along the right partner that was able to see that and to also invest in me as I was able to invest in them and become more strong in my career. If it hadn't been for my husband, then I wouldn't have even known a lot more about business and other ways to personally develop, and then for us to develop as a whole family unit. When I was writing down those pros and the cons, I was actually able to see what I was not willing to settle for. So therefore, my career was not going to veer off its path, because if the person wasn't right for me, they weren't going to interrupt my grind. No way. So I suggest really considering those things so that you know what you're getting into, what you want, what's going to be the best thing for you. I was willing to set aside a lot of the high career points in my life for the right partner. But the way that my life worked out, I was able to get that support that I needed to get over the last hump. And I'm here where I need to be with all of it. So you can do it too. And the sixth thing is to make sure you get out of the box with it. Sometimes you don't have to choose. Sometimes you can just network within your industry to find people with similar interests and goals. And most people are not having to quit their jobs now anyway because they're working from home. Manifest it and make it happen. Let me know if y'all want me to do another video on manifesting. I wanted a man at my level that understood my quirks, my passions, and my development to know that I could continue to grow with. God made it so I got my amazing scientific mechanical engineer with an MBA and a business outlook who continues to be a God-fearing leader. No dust buckets allowed. So y'all, I hope this video has been beneficial. What I wanted you to get from this is that we all will have differences. We all will have different walks, but we have to be real with ourselves about what we want. Don't let the world tell you what you should want just because you're a woman or just because you're a man. I don't care who you are. It does not matter. If you have a goal and a plan in mind and you know what you will accept in your life and what you won't, and you are very real about the consequences of those decisions will be, you'll be even more sound in your decision making, and your relationships and your career will be that much more sound for it. Y'all, make sure that you comment, share this video with someone who can use it, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. Peace. Check the links in the description for my free new Dr. Nina's Mentorship Facebook group, which is a group of like-minded individuals looking to progress, grow, and support one another along the way. Thanks so much for all the love and support over on my new website. If you haven't already, go ahead and check it out and join me for new ways to interact with me, giveaways and prizes, weekly emails, as well as my free 8-day supernatural video course, which is free when you sign up.